Hello everyone, welcome to the When It Worked podcast. You're with the host Julian Leahy. Today I'm joined by John Little and Mathias Castillo. Welcome to the show, guests.
Thank you.
Both of these guys are super pumped. It's Monday morning and they're just jumping out of the screen to play this game and do this podcast. And that's what we like to hear. Let's load up the board. All right, Mathias, you can kick things off. The categories are alcoholic drinks, the armed forces, US states, volcanoes, 6-letter words, and law. What would you like?
Ooh, let's do US states, 200.
US states for 200. State that suffered the most severe damage from 1989's Hurricane Hugo. Mathias, you weren't born in 1989, were you?
I wasn't. Whew.
John, can you remember Hurricane Hugo?
I can.
You can?
Very, very distinctly.
Do you have an answer? Which state that would be?
I want to say North Carolina.
Mathias, did you want to have a guess? You can't say North Carolina.
New York.
New York. One of the first hurricanes to hit New York, possibly. No, they get a few. It is South Carolina. You were close, but not quite. You definitely got the Carolina part. Mathias, you're still in control.
All right. Well, let's do US states, 300.
300 US states. This state has over 50 peaks above 14,000 feet, but none over 14,500 feet. So they're all the same height.
Huh. Is it Wyoming?
Wyoming. Good answer. John, do you want to have a guess?
What is Colorado?
Yeah, that's... well, Wyoming's got mountains, hasn't it? Colorado's got mountains. The other one I was thinking was like Northern California. I'm not sure if they do or not. Let's take a look. Colorado is correct. John, you are on the board. Right. 300 and you're in control.
Let's go with the armed forces for 200.
Armed forces for 200. In 1952, the U.S. Army formed the Special Forces Group, later nicknamed this.
Is that the Green Berets?
That's definitely one of the Special Forces. Mathias, do you want to have a guess?
Ooh, I think I'll have to pass on this one.
The only other ones I can think of is like the one that Jesse the Body Ventura was in. What were they called? The frogs or...
Oh, the SEALs.
Oh, the SEALs, that's the one. And there was the Chuck Norris movie Delta Force. They're the only ones I know. And they're all from like wrestling and movies because I'm not very smart. Let's take a look. Green Berets, John Little. Well done.
All right. Were
you in the military, John?
Forces. I was not. I have a lot of family that was in the military and a good friend.
Gotcha.
Was retired military. Let's go armed forces for 300.
300 armed forces. The US has built over 50 of the F-117A planes with this sneaky nickname. Sneaky.
Yeah.
Maybe they're undetectable.
What's the stealth bomber?
Stealth bomber. Let's take a look. Well done. Big John Little. He's on fire. 800 points.
Ooh.
All right. Well, let's not go too far away. Let's do armed forces for 400.
You're on to a winning thing. During World War II, Oveta Kulp-Hobby was director of this new force. That's an unusual name that I've not heard of. World War II, Oveta Kulp-Hobby was director of this new force. I'm wondering if it's like some sort of female squadron or something. They're a bit desperate.
Yeah.
Not saying that they're desperate to have women on the front line. That's
of course.
Getting myself in trouble.
I mean, I'll say the Tuskegee Airmen, but I don't think that's right. I'll take a shot.
I think you probably could be right. It was the Women's Army Corps. Well done, Julian. You're still in control, John.
Let's go alcoholic drinks for 200.
Alcoholic drinks for 200. This American liquor is named for a Kentucky county. Kentucky. They like their bourbon and stuff, but I don't know if it's that. What do they got? They got bourbon. They got people with banjos making moonshine. I'll probably get in trouble for that one as well.
I have no idea.
Oh, one's just came to me, and Matthew McConaughey did an ad for them. Oh, but that's not a county. I don't know. I was thinking Wild Turkey. Anyway, let's take a look. Oh, it's Bourbon. There's a county called Bourbon. Is that correct?
Oh, apparently.
Who knew?
Yeah, that's news to me.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
All right, let's go. Alcoholic drinks for 100.
Alcoholic drinks for 100. The name of this spirit comes from the Russian word for water, and the Russians drink it like water.
So what is vodka?
Vodka is water. Well, never knew. Well done, John.
Who knew? All right, let's go. Alcoholic drinks for 300.
Alcoholic drinks for 300. Legend assigns the invention of this to Dom Perignon in the late 1600s.
Yeah, what is champagne?
Champagne is correct. Well done, John. Don't worry, right. Mathias, you'll get a turn.
At some point.
Yeah. Alcoholic drinks for 400. This is not really painting a great picture of
Yeah, I know. You don't want to win this category necessarily. The name of this German white wine, can be translated as Blessed Mother's Milk. German wine. So what do you got? What's a white wine you got? Your Chardonnay, Riesling. Which one of those sounds German? Chardonnay sounds French.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Riesling?
Give it a crack. Oh, no, it's Liebermarch or something. Never heard of it.
Yeah.
John, what would you like next?
Good, close. Let's close the bar. Last
Get rid of the booze. 500. Though they may have little significance, the letters VO on a brandy label stand for this. It means very something, I think.
Very old?
Let's take a look. Is correct. Well done, John. You are the booze expert. Right. There's no getting away from it. What would you like next?
Let's go back to the arm. Actually, let's go U.S. states for 400.
U.S. states for 400. Wyoming is nicknamed the Equality State because it was the first to do this. I've never heard of Wyoming being. It would be the opposite of an equality state in my mind, but Wyoming is nicknamed the Equality State. It must be something to do with
maybe
ladies.
Women's right to vote.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm guessing. Women's right to vote.
Women's vote. Yeah, ability to vote. Well done. I don't know that you would still call them the Equality State. John, what would you like?
Let's do 500 U.S. states.
500 U.S. states. Classified as a mid-Atlantic state, this state doesn't touch an ocean, but does border Lake Erie. Now, which is the state that has all the lakes in it? The Great
Minnesota
Lakes of...
It's considered a mid-Atlantic state.
How do I know this and you guys don't? You know what? If I get this wrong, I'm going to look like an idiot, which I do just about every episode.
I would guess. No, I have no idea.
Well, I think it's one of the M ones. I think it could be the Great Lakes of Minnesota. I'm not sure. Does that ring a bell? I'm probably wrong.
Minnesota's a Great Lake.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, you just got it, Mathias. I hadn't revealed the answer, and you absolutely came in clutch. Well done. You're in control. That was worth waiting for.
Oh, that was definitely. Let's try 6-letter words. 500.
6-letter words for 500, going big. It's the oldest alloy known to humans, and it's got 6 letters.
Alloy.
It's not the one that they make baseball bats out of. That's got way too many letters. Oldest alloy.
Bronze?
Bronze is an alloy, isn't it?
Metal.
Because it's just a mixed metal. Let's take a look. Bronze is correct. Here comes Mathias. Look out. You're on
And
1,000.
Julian, in Australia, how do you pronounce the word that baseball bats are made out of?
We say it in a strange way, aluminium. And in the States, you say aluminium. I can't even say it. Aluminum. Aluminum?
Aluminum, right.
Yep.
I don't know who's right and who's wrong. I think we're probably wrong. We're kind of like
Tomato.
stuck on our own down here, and we just came up with a few weird things that nobody else did. Mathias. Mathias. I've got a mosquito. You are in control. What would you like?
Let's not steer too far. Let's do 6-letter words 400.
6-letter words for 100. A niche on the wall or a pause between classes at grade school. A niche on the wall. Okay, I gotcha. Something in a wall where you might hang a candle, or put a candle, or a pause between classes at grade school. Where you go and have your little juice box. Or what do you call them? What's the American ones called?
Oh.
What do you got, Mathias? Huh?
No, that's not 6-letter. What's cubby?
Starts with an R.
Recess.
Recess is correct. Well done, Mathias. You
Nice,
took advantage of the clue, and you're on 1,100 points.
Let's go volcanoes 500.
Let's go. Ooh, 500. This island nation has more than 100 active volcanoes, including Krakatoa, which exploded horrifically. I think it's just on the top of Australia.
New Zealand. What is New Zealand?
Oh, well, New Zealand's on the right of Australia, but they do have volcanoes. But I don't think that's the correct one. John, any idea? Remember, we're kind of in the middle of Asia down here.
Mm-hmm. An island nation.
Lots of
nothing.
islands. What was that?
No idea.
Let's take a look. Indonesia.
Oh, it doesn't second guess.
Yeah, I was. You still in control, Mathias?
Oh, perfect. Let's keep with the volcanoes. Volcanoes 400.
100 volcanoes. Magma. That I just thought of Dr. Evil then for some reason. Magma that reaches the Earth's surface is called this. Magma.
What is lava?
Lava. Let's take a look. Well done. Mathias, you are clawing into the lead. You're still behind, but what would you like?
Volcanoes 200.
Volcanoes.
Wasn't expecting you to be talking about volcanoes this morning.
Yeah, you just never are you, on a Monday? The word volcano comes from the name of this Roman god of fire. Also the name of a gladiator. Well, in Australia, you know that show Gladiators?
Yes.
Do you remember there was this guy? He was a really large guy with kind of braided hair, and he ended up being a villain in a James Bond movie. And he's a big Kiwi bloke. You know the Maori guys. Maoris that do all that. Oh, okay. They're the indigenous people of New Zealand.
Oh.
Yeah. And
They do the haka dance thing.
his name starts with a V. Yeah, they do the haka. Yeah, I think he's a Maori. And the name of this god starts with a V. It might also be the name of a vacuum cleaner as well. Like some sort of.
Let's see.
Starts with a V.
Roman god.
I think.
What is Boko?
Oh, very close. I think it's Vulcan.
Ah.
Yeah.
Vulcan. Oh,
I just realised that the Australian Gladiators reference was of no help whatsoever to you guys. Never mind. What would you like next, Matthias?
Let's switch it over to Law 300.
Law for 300. A person is guilty of this crime if he or she willfully makes a false statement under oath. When you lie to the court, as somebody with orange skin has done before. I've got to stay out of these controversial topics. Person is guilty of this crime if he willfully makes a false statement under oath. What do you call it? Starts with a P. Ready for a clue that is almost giving the answer away. It sort of rhymes with injury. Starts with a P. All right, I'm gonna have to show it. Perjury.
Show it.
Yeah.
Perjury.
Other than like telling you the answer, I think that was the next step. You still in control, Matthias?
All right. Let's do Law 200.
Law for 200. Minimum age at which most states allow marriage without parental consent. Well, some states get a bit dicey. Down south. Minimum age at which most states allow marriage without parental consent. Minimum age for marriage.
16.
It's got to be, hey, because that's the minimal age for, what do you call it?
Driving.
No. What do you call it? The nice way of saying it. Consummating a marriage, yeah. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. 18 it is actually for marriage.
Okay.
Except in Kentucky, it's probably 12. See? No, I didn't say that. I'll edit that out. All right. Matthias. No, who's in control? John or Matthias?
No, Mathias still has
Matthias still going.
I'm still
Okay.
control. Yes, Julian. Let's go. Law 100.
Law 100. Class of crime more serious than a misdemeanor with a penalty of more than a year in prison or death. So it's more serious than a misdemeanor, and it means you're going to get jail time.
Is this lottery or stealing?
No, it's a type of crime. And you know, like the cops will say, "Oh, you're being charged with a," and then they go, "What?" Starts with an, you know it, don't you, John?
felony.
Yeah, you got
Yeah,
it.
felony.
Yeah.
Felony. Go and John. Take it on.
John, you're
Let's
in control.
stay law for 400.
Law for 400. A judgment or decision of a court cited as an example or analogy to justify a similar decision. If a case has... what was that?
Precedent.
You got it. John's a bit of a legal eagle.
I was gonna say, are you a lawyer, John?
I'm not. I watched too much LA Law as a kid, which was before your time. So
yeah, I'm so addicted to all those court things and like YouTube and everything, and I probably know more about the US stuff than the Australian stuff, which is not much of either. John, what would you like?
Let's stay here and close out law for 5.
Law for 500. Law that derives authority from custom and usage, especially the ancient unwritten law of England. And I'll give you a clue. Have you ever seen these sovereign citizen weirdos? And they always quote this law but not the actual law, like, not the US law. They go, no, under this law, I'm free to travel without a license and all that stuff. You ever seen those? I watch too much YouTube, sorry.
Yeah, I got nothing on this one.
Well, this one, I think, you got anything, Mathias? I think it's common law.
No, I got nothing.
Common law. Common law is correct.
Okay.
John, you're in control
let's
with
go
your
armed forces for 500.
Armed Forces for 500 until Rear Admiral was created in 1862. This was the highest non-honorary U.S. Navy rank. So Rear Admiral is the highest. So I always thought the Admiral was the highest.
Right.
So what's the highest before 1862?
Captain?
That makes sense. Is correct. Well done, John.
Oh, wow.
John,
Nice.
you've got some diverse
All
knowledge,
right.
different areas, different categories. Very good.
Except for volcanoes. So let's go back there.
That's a tough
400.
one. 400 volcanoes. 57 people died when this volcano in the Cascade Range erupted in 1980.
Oh,
Wow. Where's the Cascade Range? Is it in the US?
I think that was Mount St. Helens.
Ah, wasn't there a guy filming it and he had to escape in his car and he got he got vaporized? Crazy. Mount St. Helens is correct. Well done, John.
Let's close out volcanoes.
300 volcanoes. Of the world's active volcanoes, about 60% are along the perimeter of this ocean. So which ocean has got LA? Has LA got... No, LA's got earthquakes. They don't have volcanoes, do they?
No,
they
they
got
don't
no
have volcanoes.
volcanoes. What am I talking about? Not LA, California.
But I'm going to guess the Pacific.
Yeah, that's
because
the Pacific.
Hawaii's got volcanoes.
Hawaii's got volcanoes. Japan has got volcanoes. It's got to be Pacific.
Fire.
John, let's take a look. Is correct. Well done. Let's do one more and then we'll wrap it up.
Sure. Let's do 6-letter words for 300.
6-letter words for 300. 3 miles or a group of bowling teams. A group of bowling teams? 3 miles. So 3 miles, is that no, that's not a kilometre. 3 miles is a something. Oh. A unit of measurement or a group of bowling teams, like a squad or a... Who knows? Let's take a look. A league. 3 miles. You know how they got that movie, 30,000 Leagues Under the Sea? Yeah, it's like old speak, yeah. All right, let's wrap it up. Well done, players. Mathias on 1,200 and John on 3,800. He really kicked into another gear with the legal questions and the what was the other one? Armed Forces.
Let's say Armed Forces. It may have been alcoholic drinks, but I think Armed Forces speaks better for me than.
Yeah, you got your start on the booze category, didn't you? Well done. All right. Well, because you're the winner, John, let's talk to you first of all and tell us about what you've been up to. You have a bit of a background in the corporate world, is that right, before you got into coaching?
Yeah, so I like to say that I've had a career jungle gym. I started long ago in television production and then transitioned into banking and did some consulting for a while and then in the corporate space as leadership development and learning and development. Kind of the through line through everything that I've done in my career has been leading teams and leading people. And so when the opportunity presented itself to start my own coaching company, I took it a couple of years ago, and I focus on helping people at organizations find ways to be more confident and authentic leaders.
Yes, we need leaders and people who can lead people. I was just having this conversation with somebody. We were talking about coaches, like NRL. Well, it's like, the NFL. We have the rugby league down here. And, like, what is it that makes a good coach? And they've got to be a good leader, and they just draw the ability out of people, and that people will just go the extra mile for them. And it's you just never know who's got it. And it's a very good skill to have. And, John, what types of companies do you work with, first of all?
So I work with all companies, to be honest with you. The clients that I'm working with right now come from healthcare. They come from manufacturing. There's a company that I'm working with that does janitorial services. So I'm working with their corporate arm. So it really is a broad spectrum because, like you were saying, leaders exist everywhere. Every company needs strong leaders in order to not only survive, but in order to grow and to drive the type of results that they're looking for. And leaders are the ones that are going to take them either where they want to go or prevent them from moving forward. So, industry is kind of all over the board.
And once you got, if you don't have good leaders, or you've got kind of negativity and people kind of stabbing each other in the back, it turns into a disaster, and it's really hard to fix. The question I was going to ask you: do you find that it's better, in your experience, for companies to find leaders within or hire external, leaders? What works the best?
I mean, there's always something to be said for continuity within an organization. I would always ask, like, what are you doing to develop those leaders before you promote them, or what support do you have once they get promoted? Because if you're just moving people along because they succeeded in one role and then you promote them but don't give them any additional support or leadership training, then you're kind of setting them up to fail. So in that case, maybe it's better to get someone from the outside who has different perspectives. So it really depends on kind of the structure that you have set up internally to be able to support those leaders' growth.
Yeah, it needs a lot of people on board and a lot of changes and support. Like you said, you can't just throw somebody at a problem and expect them to fix it. They'll break or leave, I guess. And
Right.
Tell us about your book, Being Profitable. Is that your book?
Oh, that one's not mine. No.
Oh, no.
That's all right.
What do we got? Okay, let's get rid of that. All right, just continue on, John. For some reason, I got the wrong link in there. I'd like to blame somebody for it, but I'm the one who did it, so I can't blame anyone. Let's fix that. Yeah, that's the one. Coaching. All right. Elevate your leadership to boost your success. What happens if people click on that? Well, there's your book. Yeah, I knew you had a book.
Yeah. So I have a free ebook that's available on my website. 8 Steps to Conquer Imposter Syndrome. Imposter syndrome is one of the things that leaders often struggle with, especially if they have been promoted into a role and they don't have the type of guidance, support, and development that is going to help them succeed in that role. So they end up questioning whether or not they should actually be promoted or be in that role. They end up not raising their hand and not engaging in meetings, or they end up micromanaging their teams, operating out of fear. And so what they can really get from that quick ebook is just some tips on how to navigate imposter syndrome, how to move past those self-limiting beliefs that as a leader can really short circuit your ability to be effective. And then obviously, would love to have conversations with people who read the book and are interested in learning more about how they can develop the skills to overcome and move past the imposter syndrome and really be the leaders that they're designed to be. Yeah,
and it's good that you had a background in kind of doing this, developing leaders. You were a leader yourself. A lot of the times people get into coaching and they just say, this is what I'm doing now. And it's like, well, have you done it? Why are you doing this? Like, why should I speak to you? So that's good to see. And what was the other question I was going to say? Yeah, now, a lot of coaches, how long have you been doing the coaching, first of all? Did you say, was it 12 years or?
So I've been doing leadership development in total for about 20 years, but for the coaching itself as an individual business, it's been 2 years.
2 years
since
gotcha.
I've been coaching. Just as my own coaching business.
And how did you go from working with a salary to developing a coaching business? Because a lot of people that are in coaching want to know that. How did you go about getting clients and all of that stuff?
So it's funny. I was just doing some research on this past weekend. A lot of it has been people who I coached before when I was in corporate settings that had then moved on to different roles with different organizations, and they recognized the value that brought to their career. So now they're at a new company, and they've said, "Hey, I want you to bring this to where I am now. I know that it's helped me a lot as a leader, and I want to see those same results in others."
Yes,
the other
network.
place has been. Yeah, the network is definitely beneficial. And then LinkedIn is where I spend the majority of my time. It's the platform that I have really invested time and effort into because that's where the people who I typically connect with, who are CEOs of companies between 500 and 5,000 and HR leaders of those size companies, that's where they tend to hang out. And so that's where the conversations around leadership typically happen.
Awesome. Well, if you want to check out what John is doing, the details are in the show notes. Developing leaders. If you are in a leadership role and you are freaking out, or if you are a CEO and you know that you need to make some changes, why not talk to John? What area do you work out of mostly, John? Is it local, or do you get on a flight and Zoom all over the place?
Yeah, so I'm in the U.S. And I'm based in Florida. I do primarily local-ish work. When I say local, I mean in the States, in the East and Central time zones is really where I focus most of my time. I have a 10-year-old son that I like to spend as much time with, so I try to limit hopping on an airplane as much as possible. But have check will travel, and there's a lot of work that I do virtually. Because the coaching connection can be done virtually as well as in person. So geography isn't too much of an issue.
Do you have to take your son to baseball practice this time of year?
Not quite. It's going to be actually I'm taking him to a baseball game. Major League Baseball starts next month, so I'm going to take him to a game here in a couple of weeks. But soccer practice is more his speed right now.
Oh, you like soccer? Cool. That's a big sport. I thought the baseball had already started because I saw the Giants had a game. Must have been preseason or something.
Yeah, it's spring training right now.
I was going to see how Aaron Judge is going. All right, cool. Well, that's great. So, have a chat to John Little about developing leadership. Thanks very much for sharing all that, John.
Thank you.
All right, now from developing leaders to developing communities. Mathias, what's a cultural bridge builder and community advocate?
Thank you, Julian and John. Really inspired about the work that you do. Hopefully, sending you much success. It's very much needed at this point. On the flip side, for me, cultural bridge, community connector, whatever you want to call it, it's really the essence, bringing people together. Whether it's of the same race, different races, thinking the same way, thinking differently. We like bowling, we like volcanoes, all these different conversations that we like to have.
Great
how do
segue.
we bring folks? How do we bring people together and have meaningful conversations? And my expertise is really how do we amplify those voices around
And
that are oftentimes not heard.
You're in Wisconsin, is that right?
I am Madison, Wisconsin right now.
Madison, Wisconsin. And so do you work with like Spanish-speaking business groups? Is that, I'm just guessing.
That's a little bit of my audience. I think I've been really engaged with the Latinx community. But also a lot of my clients are, small business owners, city officials, government, and private entities. I don't like to exclude. I think I
Yeah,
always like to
yeah.
bring in
So
how
is
you
it
include
people
both the
from
internal and external stakeholders.
other countries like that have migrated and they're trying to start up businesses? Is that kind of what you're doing?
Not much.
No.
I know that there's I can connect them to resources. Have connections with the Chamber of Commerce's here in Madison, but also seeing what are the other things, learnings, and people that they need to meet.
So you're helping people access, resources in the community that they will help them, and that perhaps they don't know about. Is that? Am I barking up the right tree?
That's one of the aspects, yeah. The other piece is working with the leaders. To John's point, that building the soft skills so you can retain the talent, so you can be able to communicate effectively across cultures and,
I
convene
gotcha.
people.
I got you. So companies that might be a little bit kind of backwards with their cultural knowledge and processes might speak to you to make themselves a bit more accessible to other groups.
Yeah,
I'm
be able
getting
to
there?
identify. You're getting there. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Now I'm starting to understand. And what types of businesses do you work with, or is it you work with businesses, or you work with the community groups first?
Both and if it's a business trying to reach out to the community, really leaning into who are they already connected with,
Yep.
so we can build deeper the relationships there and who is missing. If it's with the community center, is how do we build relationships that can help you grow and
Yeah.
expand what are your services, the work that you're doing, your membership, right? All those things that drive businesses to grow.
Yeah, strong communities is really important. We need that down here. We kind of isolate ourselves a little bit down here, but we're getting better at it.
Same in the U.S. There's a lot of isolation.
Yeah, it's probably going to getting worse for a couple of years, but we won't go into that. Now, what I was going to ask, so I mean, do you work for a government agency, or who pays you? I'm still a little bit unsure of how it works.
Yeah. With the term diversity, equity, inclusion, when you're working with city officials, right?
Yeah.
Government, they pay me to be able to make sure that I'm outreaching to the folks that they're not oftentimes able to reach.
Gotcha. So you're a consultant.
Very much a consultant.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, that's interesting. And you work with a lot of government departments and help them make sure that they're doing all of their DEI stuff correctly.
Correct.
Awesome. Well, that's interesting. I think I got to the bottom of that. And, well, that's great. And so who would be reaching out to you mostly? It would be some government departments, or do you want to tell us about something you've got coming up, perhaps?
Yeah, I'm working with this organization. I'll give this example. Trying to engage the Latino community around renewable energy sources and how to adapt, electric vehicles, solar panels, all that sort of stuff, fun stuff. And my work is really diverse. Is really if you're trying to engage diverse audiences and finding people that oftentimes don't get that opportunity to share their opinion or their thoughts, experiences on an issue. It's always good to hire a facilitator or third-party consultant to help guide that conversation. And if it's not me, how do we find those trusted messengers that allow for folks to be able to adapt new, like this project, new technology like electric vehicles is really, really exciting. So
I was just talking to somebody about that, and I was thinking, I wonder if in 5 years there'll be many gas powered cars around, or petrol cars as we say, and it's quite exciting, and we need to get on to that. Don't get a Tesla though, get one of the other ones, and it just you'll get your windows broken if you get a Tesla. I'm finding out. Yeah, no, but that's great. Yeah, all of that environmental stuff, that's kind of an emergency. And, it's good that you're able to get that message out to people who, maybe there's language barriers and maybe economic barriers and things like that. So that's great. Well, thanks for coming on and sharing that with us, Mathias. That was interesting to me. Let's have a round of applause for our wonderful guest. And thanks, Big John Little. All the best with your business, developing leaders. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.